screen, and I'll take you through the pattern drafting process today. So you can see the front has this net. I use lace fabric for the net to create the pattern at the front, and it's a princess bustier dress, and I'll be taking you through the pattern drafting process of the front bodice and the back bodice in this tutorial. So you can see the front with the net. I doubled the net, that's why it's not that transparent, so you can leave the net undoubled if you wish to do that. So this is the outcome of the tutorial. You can see it's very beautiful. So that front that is covered with lace fabric you can use a transparent net or a tool. You can use a skin tone tool for that part, and it will come out very beautiful. So this is the basic bodice. So if you can draft the basic bodice perfectly, you don't have any problem here. So I have all the vertical measurements here, the bust, the under bust, the half length on the vertical measurement. So after I have created that, I have input the back measurement, and the next one is insert the dart, and the dart will be inserted with the nipple to nipple measurement, which is divided by 2, and I have 3.5. So on the waistline, the dart is 1 inches dart intake that I took. Then I input all the circumference measurement here. So the circumference measurement on the half length, you can see it's 32 divided by 4, and also on the under bust is 30 divided by 4. Don't forget to insert all the dart intake. So that's what I'm trying to do. Wherever there is dart intake, you're going to add it. So here on the bust is also the circumference measurement divided by 4, and also on the upper chest, the circumference measurement divided by 4 plus half inch sewing ease allowance. So here we have the sewing allowance of 2 inches. So I added plus the sewing allowance and the seam allowance, I made it 2 inches. So here just draw a straight line down, and that's what I've just done. So to be able to do the waist tightening, so I have from here where I touched right now, I have 1.5 space from that point to the seam allowance, so to the side seam. So here I'm going to divide that 1.5 into 1.25 and 0.25. So here I'm going to insert 1.25 here, and I'll come to this side and insert 0.25. So, and that has been used to do the waist tightening. So I'm going to connect it to the bust point. So 1 inch before the bust point, that's where I'm going to connect these points to on both sides. So just to create my princess bustier pattern. So I'm going to connect this carefully with my red pen so that I'll be able to note that. So I'll use the French curve to carve up the bust area right now, so you can see. So this part will be connected to the armhole. So just mark the mid armhole. The mid armhole here, I have 7 inches. Dividing it by 2, I have 3.5. So I'm going to connect it to the bust area like this. So after I have made the connection, you can see that we are having it looking like our princess bustier. So I'm going to connect it down like this, and after I have done that, I'll come down here by 1 inch. So I'll come down by 1 inch here, just to make sure the bust is perfect and the shape comes out well. So here I'll connect this to the waist like so, and connect this also to the waist. The waist is also the half length. So this half length is for dress, and this half length is also the upper waist. So you can do all the blending and throwing, and after that insert the neck depth. So the neck depth is 3.5, and the neck width is also 3.5. So then after connecting it, add all the necessary sewing allowance, half inch sewing allowance on the armhole, half inch sewing allowance on the shoulder, and here mark 1 inches. 1 inches will be marked here to create that the frontal lace, and here I have 1/4 inch, so it will now form like a V shape. So I'll connect it like so. 1 inches upward and half inches down. So I'll now connect it to the mid armhole like so. So I'll come down from here by 1 inch so that the connection will be perfect and it won't be sharp. So I will look for the ruler that I can use to perfect that. So I will use my pattern master, then connect it to the mid armhole like so. So here is my yoke. So that part that the net will that I'm going to use the net lace is the yoke. So I'll blend it like so. So after blending it, then I can just label it or put a dot to note that this is the yoke and this will be removed. I'm going to separate all this. So I have put dots, and this part will be used for the net lace. So I'm going to add half inch sewing allowance on the shoulder and connect it to the neckline. So here half inch sewing allowance also will be added. So as you can see on the waist, I'm going to shade it like so. Shade this dart intake because all this dart intake will be removed. Shade this part also. I'm going to remove this part that I just shaded. And we are almost done with the pattern drafting of the front, so I'm going to move to the back right away. So this is the back bodice I want to create right now. So from here I'm inputting the bust circumference plus 2 inches. Bust circumference divided by 4 plus 2 inches gives me 11 because I have 9 plus 2, 11. Then I'll mark a straight line up. So this straight line will go up like so. And after I have done that, the next thing to do is to add my, just extend this line because of the sewing, the zipper allowance. So I'm going to add the zipper allowance of 1.5 inches. So I'll add 1.5 inches all through like this. So 1.5 inches all through like this. So I'm going to connect it like so. Then after I have done that, here I'm going to input the back divided by 2 rather. So then connect it to the upper chest like so. Then here I'll input the nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2, which is 3.5, and also here 3.5, and also then come down by 1 inch from the upper chest, then connect it to the half length also on a straight line. Then I'm going to input that intake of half inch on both sides of the half length, then connect it. Then input all the circumference measurement divided by 4 on the half length divided by 4. I'll input the circumference measurement and add the dart intake. On the under bust, circumference measurement divided by 4 and add the dart intake, and also on the bust divided by 4 and add the dart intake. Then I'm going to connect like so. Then here I'm adding the seam allowance. So the seam allowance and the sewing allowance is being added together. I have 1.5 here. Then after I have done that, so rather I have 2 here. So after I have done that, the next thing I'm going to do is to mark the shoulder slope of 1 inch like I did for the front. Then I'm going to mark the mid armhole also 3.5. Then I'll use my French curve to take the armhole curve like this. So I'll add sewing allowance of half inch like so. Then here the neck width, whatever I have on the front I'll input on the back. And for the neck depth it's different. For the back, the neck depth is 6 inches. So the back is very deep. You can make it more deeper, so it depends on your choice. So connect the shoulder slope like so and add sewing allowance of half inch. And after I have done that, I'm going to take 2 inches here because a kind of yoke will also be at the back also. 2 inches down to the mid armhole, then connect it with a straight line. Then put your French curve like so. So on the bust line, I'll come down on the bust line by 2 inches. So after I have marked that 2 inches, then I'm going to connect it like this. So you can come down as long as 2 inches or 1.5 inches, depending on your choice, as deep as you want your yoke to be. So just put a straight ruler like so, then connect the straight line through to the dart, then put your French curve like this to carve it up in order to bring out the shape of the back yoke. So the back yoke has been created, then blend it to avoid sharp edges. So after I have done that, the next thing to do is you don't forget to shade so as to note the yoke part. So I have the yoke part shaded for the back, then add sewing allowance on the neckline for the back, and for the front also don't forget to add the sewing allowance of 1/2 inch on the neckline. So having perfected everything, we are almost done. So please don't forget to subscribe, like, and also share this video. So, and after I have done that, after I have perfected everything, this is the back and the front bodies. So here, to avoid bulging on the zipper, 1/2 inch will be taken inward on the under bust and the length, then connected it through to the upper chest like so. Then after I have done that, I'm going to take the measurement like so and come up by 1 inch on the half length, then bring it down to the half length like so, to the side seam like so, then add sewing allowance. The reason why I did this is because the length at the back is not as long as the length at the front, so I have reduced the length at the back by 1 inches. So that's what I just did on the zipper allowance and connected it to the side seam. So after I have done that, the next thing is to just cut it out like so. So do the cutting like so. So I'm going to separate the back and the front bodies this way. So I have the front and the back body, so I'm going to remove the dart of the front like so. So the dart intake will be removed like this. Just remove it carefully, then bring it together like this. So this is what I have. So this will be cut on fold. That's what I just write. This is two pieces for all the back, the front, the yoke, and the front will be cut on fold. So I remove the dart for the back also. You can leave it and sew it in. So I have the back, the front, and this is what I have for the front. You're going to separate the yoke from the main bodies like this. So because the yoke will be cut with a net, or you can use a tool. So this is what I have for the front bodies. I have 3 pieces for the front bodies and also 3 pieces for the back bodies. So we are almost done and we have come to the end of this tutorial, and I will see you in my next tutorial. Until then, take good care of yourself. Bye.